Y'all don't even know. There was just some drama with the kids downstairs, so I'm gonna try to do this while the kids are drama free. Hopefully, the ice cream man shows up and fixes everything. So, on that note, welcome back. It's summer. I'm so happy that you're here. Today's video is about the first step to healing, right? Very important because we know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results, right? So we don't want to do the same thing over and over again, and we don't want to like numb any pain or ignore any pain, be it in our physical or mental body. We want to actually identify the pain, work through the pain as the divine beings that we are, and the capability that we do possess in order to do just that. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right into it, and I'm going to identify the first step to healing as your self-assessment. The self-assessment is so important because, first of all, we can't move on to any other healing aspect if we don't really know what we're trying to do, right? The why and the end goal, which is really important. This is a tool that is used by your allopathic doctor, being your regular doctor that most people see, and also your naturopathic doctor, which I'm currently still studying to be. So when you go see your doctor, whatever kind of doctor that it is, they are going to do something and take something called SOAP notes. SOAP spelled SOAP. I know you know how to spell soap. Okay, I'm just spelling it for the purposes of this conversation so we can walk through it together. So your S is going to be your subjective report. So that's when you're going to tell the doctor exactly what's going on with you, how long it's happened, how bad is it on a scale of 1 to 10, where, point to the location that you might feel it in your body, kind of thing. You're going to tell the doctor all about this issue, right? And they are going to take notes. If they're a good doctor, they're going to take really descriptive notes based on what you're telling them has been going on with you, with your digestion, with whatever it may be. It's how you feel in your self-report. Sometimes if you have a loved one or if it's for an elder, it might be the caregiver or the relative's point of view as well that's calculated in that S part of the report. The next part is going to be the O, and that's going to be the objective part of the examination. And that is everything that you can quantify and everything that you can measure. So in measuring, you're going to maybe take the eye, you're going to look at the eyes, or you're going to take the blood pressure. You're going to get your temperature taken. Somebody's going to find out how much you weigh. Somebody might palpate, or rather touch your abdomen to see, okay, where does it hurt? Does it hurt at all? There's all kinds of different tests that can be measured and quantified. That would be a part of this O part of the intake, as we call it. The next part is when you put that subjective part, which is what you told them, just like what you said, your opinions, which are valid about the feelings and the sensations that you have, and you combine that with the A part, with the O part. The S and the O are combined, right? The A is the assessment. That's when you put them together and you say, okay, she says this, and from the test that I can see, I can either confirm this, or I can maybe say, you know what, maybe it's not this, but it's this, based on the cumulative effects and reports of both, the notes from both, right? And then finally, we can do the P, which is the plan, right? The plan is the last thing. And in that structure, which it seems to be a very solid and workable structure, we do see results doing that structure. The subjective is the first and most important part. And this is something that you can do yourself. You don't need to go to the doctor to do this, right? Because you know your body and your afflictions better than anybody else. We all have pain. We all go through suffering, right? This is like one of the first and most basic lessons of the Buddha, right? In this life, no one is immune to it. Even my baby, goodness, he's only been here 10 months, but don't you know that boy has bumped his head and all kinds of things, and he's he's I don't know, he's usually pretty good and joyful, but just different things, like when the baby comes out and they have that little baby acne kind of thing, or now his little teeth are coming in, or he's trying to push his little car and maybe he hurt his little toe, or it's just from like day one until the end. We have afflictions, and we can be honest about those afflictions. We don't need to hide those afflictions. We can work through those afflictions as the divine beings that we are, right? So it's important, though, to identify what those afflictions may be in our physical body. Like, is it an earache? Is it something as simple as an earache? Or is it something as simple as, well, there's trauma in my life and I have issues trusting people because of it, but I don't want that to hold me back from continuing to live my best life and having healthy relationships with people that I care about, or potential people that might come into my life, right? But the first thing is being honest about it. And so in order to do this, it takes a bit of shadow work. Shadow work being a term that is used in spiritual communities and psychology communities that refers to doing the work to sort of unearth or surface what's in the subconscious that the conscious might not even acknowledge, right? I'm gonna give y'all a funny example. I hope my man don't mind me telling all my business, but y'all, I done had a dream this week that my man, I won't even put his name out there, my boo, at some point y'all gonna get to know him, I'm sure. Had a dream that he was getting busy with somebody named Anita at the end of the hallway. Okay. I woke up, I was like, I didn't want to say nothing, but eventually I was like, who is Anita? And he was like, Anita? He had a couple Anitas in his life from back in the day, friends and whatnot, just like he knows a lot of people. Because if you know 1,000 people, you probably know an Anita, maybe. So I'm like, no, recently. And he's like, baby, what is you talking about? And I'm like, what happened in the hallway? And he's like, babe, you need to do some shadow work. So in doing some shadow work, maybe I would be able to surface, okay, maybe sometimes I feel insecure about X, Y, and Z, even though in my regular everyday life, I don't feel insecure whatsoever. But maybe there's some insecurities there. Or maybe I have this feeling that maybe that's the worst thing that could happen to me. And so maybe sometimes I'm plagued with fear that, hey, this is like that could be the worst thing that could happen. I don't know what it is, but it's just an example of like, okay, you have this thought, so kind of like digging, because that thought, if I put it to trial, which that's what cognitive behavioral therapy is about, you put your thoughts to trial. So if I put that thought to trial, if I'm like, okay, my boo's, he's doing something with Anita at the end of the hallway, right? Okay, you put that thought to trial and you're like, okay, what is the evidence supporting that thought, right? Then I can start to work on the thought and do the inner work. And so in keeping with that example, I do the inner work and then you see, okay, well, what's the pros? There's no pros supporting that. And then what's against that is, well, he's with me every day. This man be telling me he loved me all the time. We spend all of this time together. He's so thoughtful, so caring, so compassionate. And then I see, if I look at it objectively, that there's all this information that would support that, hey, like, there's no Anita boo. You can just relax. And then that can just have a shift in my body, in my physical body and my mental body, in terms of what is my approach to life and my relationships as well. So that is just what I wanted to share. I think my little one and husband just actually got home. But in terms of the self-assessment, it can be journaling. That can help to bring some things to the surface. It can be just sitting with your body. I love that Queen Afua did this on the Table Talk recently. Go Jada for having Queen Afua on there, the Queen of Queens. And she just asked them, in terms of your physical body, and she actually was talking to them about their vagina. If your vagina could speak, what would it say? And you don't have to just do that. You can do that with your vagina, but just your whole body. If your arms could speak, if your back could speak, if your stomach could speak, what would your body say to you? Not you, your body. What would it say to you? And what would it say that you need to do in order to see improvement in your body, right? That's the thing. So listening and just really taking the time to journal, to sit with yourself and to say, hey, what's really going on with me, right? What surfaces, what reoccurring dreams when I can't go to sleep, what reoccurring thoughts happen and occur? What patterns do I hold over and over that seem to sabotage relationships that I have with friends and family? What could be the root of them? How long have they been happening, you know? And just really sitting with the mental and spiritual is a beautiful thing to do. Just making a list of like, hey, these are some things that I want to work on healing. These are some things that are reoccurring, right? The reoccurring is the thing. And then the physical body, just making a list from head to toe, right? That's why meditation is so good, because like literally you are being still, so like little aches and pains and things that aren't usually so overt may surface, and so you can just also just take a toll from your head to your toe in terms of like, well, what's happening in my physical body that I might want to work on. And then from there, you know what the end goal is. Well, I want to work on these things, and then you can prioritize them in terms of urgency, right? And just, you know, while we're here, I think it's a great idea to prioritize. Obviously, you need your mental clarity, but depending on how severe the physical, like let's say you have some sort of physical affliction, I personally think that that often needs to be prioritized and sought out to be helped, because that physical, the physical and the mental are so connected that sometimes the physical affliction can be so debilitating that you can't get your mind right to work on the rest, right? Like that physical aspect, if you got a broken leg in nature, your mind just isn't going to be right until you handle and fix that broken leg. So yeah, that list and then prioritizing that list is really important. So healers, that is what I have for you today. The S's that we're going to carry in terms of the first step. Get you a journal too that my little one's crying, so I really do got to go. But the S for the shadow work, and then the subjective, and making a list from there so that we can work on our goals for our body and our mind. So that's all. I will talk to y'all soon. Stay happy, stay light, take care of your mental and physical, because peace of body and peace of mind are the goals here. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.